Alright, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to another Q&A session, and we're going to answer two of your questions that are most common. Number one being, how much do we spend in a month on the Revel? And number two being, why did we choose the Revel to begin with?
Ooh.
So, to dig into question number one, how much does it cost us on a monthly basis? Our monthly payment for the Revel is $800. Our insurance, full coverage with roadside assistance, runs us $50 a month. So that's $850. We get about 15 to 17 miles per gallon, and depending on how much we're driving, we could probably spend anywhere from $300 to $400 a month on gas itself. If we spend less time traveling or driving around and more time sitting at a spot, of course those costs are reduced. For food costs, we spend about $200 a month. I prefer to cook. It makes it cheaper. Camping expenses can add up really quickly if you stay at a campground every single day. We've paid for campgrounds 3 times, and after 2 months of traveling, we can splurge, I guess you call it, with a campground ever so often, but we really don't enjoy them that often. And most of the time, like the campground we're in right now, you're not hooked up to anything anyway, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to pay for it. This time it was just for convenience. And the typical campground here in Alaska could range anywhere from $20 a night to $60 a night, especially if you have hookups.
The great thing about Alaska is we have numerous boondocking spots, so you don't always have to have a campground or have reservations for a campground, because if you have the ability to go off-grid, you may as well just take that. However, in the lower 48, they aren't as blessed as we are when it comes to random places to park. You can do Cabela's and Walmart, but boondocking was a little less available, I think, the further you go east.
We save a lot of money by doing the boondocking. When it comes to dump stations or water, there's a lot of them that charge you $5 or $10. We just pass by those, and we go to the places where if you fill up with a tank of gas, you can dump and get water and do everything that you need to do for free. And that's sort of how we save money, I guess.
Absolutely. And we find it on an app. It's easy to find. The iOverlander app is really helpful.
Which leads us to our second question. Why did we pick the Revel?
Why the Revel? I've had people come up to me and tell me that they were trying to decide between the Revel, let's say Pleasure Way, or the Revel in a conversion, and they've asked my opinion on it, so we figured we'd just sit down and talk to you for a little bit about it and what we think as to why we chose it. We know that there's many options out there when it comes to Class B vans. We have conversion vans, which was one of our original thoughts, was just having one converted. We were realistic. We knew that we weren't going to convert it ourselves. We looked at a place in Oregon called Outdoor Van, and I researched them, looked them up on Instagram. If you're interested in van conversions, Outdoor Van, and I think it's just outside of Portland, has some great conversions. When we looked at how long we would have to wait to get the Sprinter chassis, and then how long we'd have to wait for the conversion to actually occur, and then the little things that weren't included, like a lot of them didn't have showers or toilets or four-wheel drive. The other thing that really appealed to us with the Revel was the fact that they claim that it's 4-season capability. So because it's 4-wheel drive, it has a high clearance, and it has the S-bar heating system. We're excited to use it this winter when we go Northern Lights hunting.
We looked at a lot of different vans when we were working on coming up with this decision, and a lot of them that claim to be four-wheel drive were really low to the ground, very low clearance, and a little bit longer than what we currently use, and it just didn't fit what we wanted to do with it.
And when we originally started looking at vans, we only had the capability to look at videos online because for some reason Alaska and their motorhome dealerships weren't carrying vans in stock, and to this day they don't carry vans in stock from what I understand, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because for us the van works perfectly in Alaska for our conditions.
And there are a few places in Alaska that do conversions as well. When we looked at the total cost of converting with everything that we want in our van, we decided that it was better, both financially and from a time perspective, to take this route, to go with the Revel.
And we've had a lot of feedback. There's people who think that the Revel is cookie cutter, you know, everything is built the same, but it's just a matter of opinion. You know, you can get a converted van that may not be well built as well. You know, the Revel, it doesn't have like solid wood counters or solid wood drawers and cabinets like the Coachman Galleria did, or was it the Airstream? We originally were looking at the Airstream Interstate, and it was so plush and beautiful inside, and that's more of a touring coach, and when you look at it online, that it made a lot of sense. It was just gorgeous to tour the United States in, but we flew to Eugene, Oregon, and thought that we were going to be looking at the Coachman Galleria, which had four-wheel drive, all seasons capability.
3 seasons.
Oh, was it 3-season capability? And it also had sumo springs and all this like fancy little stuff that we were interested in, and it was a good $40,000 more. The MSRP was a good $40,000 more than the Revel. So we stepped inside the Galleria, and immediately it felt plush. You know, like it had the leather seats and the microwave and the little things that we don't have in the Revel, and honestly it didn't feel like us. I feel like I would be a lot more worried about trying to keep it clean, or not taking it down that dirt road, or the kids being in it. I'd be afraid that they would spill something. Right now they're sitting in there hanging out, and I really don't care what happens in there because it can always just be cleaned up.
That was one of the main things that we took into consideration, is what we wanted to use it for, and our long-term goal, of course, is that we're going to be traveling across the world. And we made our purchase now so that we can pay this off right around the time that we're getting ready to truly hit the road full time. What are some of the advantages of having the Revel?
You know, with the motorhome, you can't use it all year round because you have to store it and winterize it for the winter. It goes anywhere. It's 19 feet, so it goes anywhere that a car can go, or any 4x4 vehicle. I like the convenience of, you know, having the shower, having the toilet, being able to cook. So there's a lot more convenience than we've ever had before. You know, previously we had just rode around on our motorcycles and brought food that was just ready to eat, and it was definitely an adventure, but there's more comforts to the Revel.
A lot of people comment about the difference between having a lithium battery system and a lead acid battery system. We're interested to see this winter how it holds up as well, because we will regularly be in temperatures well below 32 degrees. And what does that mean? Well, ultimately that means our ability to stay off grid for a longer period of time when it is below 32 degrees. I'm interested to see how the Revel holds up in sub-zero temperatures as we travel around too. Yeah. That's going to be an interesting test, to say the least.
Agreed. You know, we're really looking forward to capturing shots of the Northern Lights, and we enjoy camping in the winter, so we're definitely going to put it to the test this winter.
What are some things that we might change about the Revel?
What are some things that we would change about the Revel? One of the first things I'm going to change is, you know, it has a 3-inch memory foam mattress in the back, it's comfortable enough, but I want it more comfortable, so I'm going to switch it up to a 7-inch mattress in the back.
One of the other items that we're planning, well, a couple items that we're planning to modify. Number one, the stereo system in the Revel is...
It's crap.
Crap. It is for what we paid for this, I would expect it to be better, but it is what it is, and it's not that expensive to change out a stereo system, so.
Well, I think that what's forgotten oftentimes is that the Sprinter chassis is just a Sprinter chassis. The Sprinter was built for carrying passengers and cargo, and it wasn't really intended, the chassis, to be what it is now. And then Winnebago came in and they made their upgrades, but you know, I can understand why Winnebago wouldn't want to upgrade the stereo system or the little things that they don't do, that they just keep it as a Sprinter chassis. So I think that can be forgotten sometimes, that what the Sprinter was originally built for. So I don't know, I don't mind upgrading the stereo, but it is crap.
The second thing that we want to do is we want to add more storage, because we like using our bathroom, and we see a lot of people with Revels in the Facebook group we follow who use their bathroom as a closet or storage area 100%. We do keep 2 shelves in, we do store stuff in there, but we don't store our clothes, and we keep those in bags. So,
well, they're soft-sided motorcycle bags, not like we keep our clothes in luggage bags. We plan on building storage systems in the back of the Revel underneath the bed. Haven't quite figured that out yet as to how we're going to do that, but we definitely want a drawer system at least on one side to put our clothing in. And then we need the room for all of our gear, and that's the other reason why we chose the Revel, is because it has so much room for gear. Our fishing poles, our firewood, right now our clothing,
kayaks,
our boots,
bicycles,
yeah.
Everything that you want to fit into there can fit. There's plenty of storage. In the back end, we need clothing storage.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not a huge priority. For me, I feel like the luggage bags work okay. Like when I wake up in the morning, I just take the luggage bag and set it on the bed and pull out what I need to wear and then put it back under the bed. But we definitely need more organization. When we first started, we didn't have a lot of stuff, but 2 months now, we've started to accumulate more stuff like fishing poles and gear and fish processing equipment and hoses, and you know, so right now we have everything stored in bins, which it's actually kind of working if you ask me, but just having those separate areas for firewood, hoses, and then clothing, and keeping it all separate would be nice. We went back and forth about the Revel because we do have kids and we travel a lot, and we do like the fact that it has that extra bench seat. We haven't used it with the kids yet because they've been sleeping in tents. If you know, one wants to sleep in the van one night, I think we'll give it a try, but the problem with that is they sleep sideways and it's hard to get out of the van, and we may have showed that in a different video, but if they can sleep outside, why not? But we chose this because we could have the best of both worlds. We could have our comfort and we could still go and travel with them. As crazy it might sound, the Revels also has an extreme amount of convertibility to it as well. It has the basic shell of the Sprinter, and it has the cabinets and stove and has everything in place, but later down the road, if we want to take out that bench seat that the kids are on right now while we travel, we can. Later on, if we want to add cabinets to it, we can. I've seen that bench seat turned into sort of like an office area where they take out the bench seat, they leave the S-bar in, and then they put a little desk in there. There's all these options that the Revel can be converted to later down the road.
Why did we choose the Revel instead of a travel trailer or a motorhome or
a camper on a truck, like a cash camper?
Yeah.
Well, we went through all of those options and we talked about it and we thought about each and every one. Gotta love campgrounds. So we went through the options of having a travel trailer. We went through and thought about motorhomes. And we thought about campers. But guess what you have to buy if you have a travel trailer or a camper?
A new truck.
And trucks are expensive.
Especially one that's big enough to pull something large.
And you'd have to have somewhere to store a motorhome, a travel trailer, or a camper in the winter, and we don't have that. We wanted something that we could be in all year round. So those were easily narrowed out.
Plus, the size makes a big difference as far as...
Well, the other thing we had to consider was storing a travel trailer, a camper, or a motorhome in the winter.
And because we like the outdoors in the winter too, we want something that can be used year-round, again, being 4 season. And the flexibility to go where we want to, which anything over 21, 22 feet, you've narrowed down where you can actually go.
You're really annoying. Go away.
He's giving us some commentary.
We have a new friend. I'll throw a rock at him. Okay, so I'll be honest, the thought of hooking up a travel trailer, backing it in, finding a spot that it can go, and then detaching it, and making sure it's level, and all of that that's included with owning a fifth wheel or travel trailer was not something that I was interested in.
Our setup time takes about 5 minutes from the time we pull into a spot to the time we're sitting around a fire or cooking dinner. I couldn't imagine it taking 20, 30 minutes to move.
Well, as we say this, I'm kind of laughing because the people behind us on the other side, I'm sure you can hear them, but they're yelling at each other and having a grand old time trying to hook up their trailer. It's been at least 20 minutes.
We hope you found this video useful. A lot of our perspectives on why we made the decision that we made, how much it costs us.
The main reason why we created this channel was to let people live through us vicariously who are interested in either traveling to Alaska or traveling the United States and beyond the United States. So because of that, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below and we'll get to you and we'll answer those questions. I know Jim and I spend a great deal amount of time responding to people's feedback and questions and comments. And if you like this video or videos like this, go ahead and hit our subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you like this video as well. Thank you so much for subscribing. We'll see y'all later.